Hey, I am excited to share some things with you. I am in the midway point of my 90-day cycle, this 90-day quarter. Um, and I've noticed some things that I think it's going to change the way that I'm looking at the situation and how I'm feeling about myself and my goals. It has been an interesting couple days of retrospect. So I went on vacation to go see a marker for my best friend. He passed away years ago, and I was able to connect with his family and really had a good time being down there. But always when you are around life and death, I think there's this natural desire to look at your life and look at where you're going. And I was journaling about this over the last couple days, where I'm just really happy. I am happy where I'm at in my life. That doesn't mean I don't have goals and I'm not working towards things. I definitely am. I'm definitely still discovering parts about myself as a single mom, as a woman, as a human. And I love that journey, and I'm always going to be on that journey. But one of the things that came up for me is this idea of maintenance. And I really wanted to speak to that today because it's kind of a new idea for me. I've always been pushing and going. Back in 2015, 2017, I was setting some really massive goals. And I'm able to say that, I've created success in those areas, and I absolutely love it. I'm thrilled. So I'm to a point where, and I know I've talked about this, I'm out of survival mode, and I have this space to really learn and see what I'm about. And one of those things that I'm learning is about maintenance. And I'm not talking about weight loss, maintaining weight, but I am talking about like health in general and my connections in general. So those two areas are where I feel like I am kind of in maintenance. So the activities around those areas are a part of my day-to-day. And that's what I mean by maintenance. It is built in to my day-to-day. There are systems in place that make sure that I'm doing these things automatically. There's not much thought happening behind the scenes in those areas. And that's what I mean by maintenance. And it's incredible. I don't think I've ever been in that place. I think it's always been some type of a struggle or, on and off type of relationship. And I feel like I have a system that is working for me, that I'm enjoying. And part of that, and I'll give some examples, for my health, the health activities, I go to kickboxing on a regular basis, and I am lifting weights on a regular basis. I'm stretching on a regular basis. There are times throughout the day where I know I'm lifting my weights. Usually it's at noon. I take my lunch break for work and I go into my garage and I lift. And after work, it's my social hour. I don't go to the bar. I go and have fun at kickboxing and get to hang out with an amazing group of people. I do dance. I'm saying a lot today. So I do dance, but I do that more at home, and there are sometimes I go to classes and things like that, but it's more of a journey for me. And so it's something that I'm able to, similar with weights, just do in my home. And because I'm doing them in my home, because I have things in place like a gym in my garage that I've slowly built over time, I, put the pole in so I could practice more. It may not be convenient. I had to move my room around to be able to do that, but having the space and being very intentional with my physical space to build my life around the activities I want to be doing has helped. Those are the systems I'm talking about. I'm already in a workout outfit because I know I'm going to lift and I'm going to go to kickboxing today. But I wanted to be semi-cute, so I put on some makeup and I did my hair and I have my rings on because I am driving a kiddo back and forth at the same time. So there are just things that may be silly that I'm running around in a workout outfit, and sometimes I do change. Today just wasn't one of those days. I know myself, and I'm getting back in routine from vacation, so I just need to rely on the systems that work. So for my health, when I talk about me being in maintenance, it's less about, not having goals, but more that it's built into my day-to-day. I don't have to think about it. It's normal. It would be abnormal if it didn't occur. And that's the same thing with my connections. I have struggled to maintain relationships over the years for various reasons, but I wanted to prioritize my daughters no matter what. And so I've been very intentional and I've created space for them, and we have a really solid routine. And it's silly, but again, going back to the physical environment, we got rid of our kitchen table because that space was not being used. It felt more like an obligation. And we stand and eat dinner around an island, and we use that area to play. And that has created so much more connection for my family than a dinner table could. We tried the dinner table route and it just was not successful. And so again, there's always room to grow in every area, but having the systems in place for me to be able to know that I know on this day I'm spending time with this person. I know that if I have 20 minutes, I'm able to get off a few text messages to people that I need to reply to. I know on Friday this week, I'm connecting with a dear friend of mine and having some wonderful conversation. And all of that is built into my day-to-day. There are things that I do automatically to make sure that those relationships are being supported, they are being cared for because they're important to me. So that's what I mean by maintenance. And it is weird being in that zone because it just happens. It's natural at this point, and I think that that's weird because I've had to work at it for so long. So an amazing feeling. I'm very excited for that, and I'm really hoping I can get there with creativity next. So that's been my focus of this last 90-day cycles, and like I mentioned, we're about halfway through with that right now. And I've really focused on a couple of things from Julia Cameron's book, The Artist Way. It's worked for me before, and so I just kind of went back to the basics. Again, going back to what I know, my morning pages in the morning, I'm working really hard to make sure that I actually have my journal right here in front of me. I am making sure that I am in this thing every single day, and I have multiple notebooks in here. This brown one right here is my morning pages right now, and I have my notes for this video right here. So I've got my budget in here in one of these folders going in here. You can kind of see the green notepad in there. I have just my life in this thing. And so I have been really diving deep into my morning pages again, trying to get consistent. I've talked about consistency before. It just means that we're showing up over and over and over again. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's coming back to it. And that's how I was able to get into maintenance for my health and for my connections. So I know it's going to work for my creativity. I just have to give it time, and I need to keep recommitting every single day. So working on my morning pages. And then the other thing where I've seen a lot of success is the artist dates. So Julia Cameron really talks about going out on these dates, being alone while you're doing it. Don't make it a big hoorah, bringing all of the friends and family so you really lose focus. I definitely had family on one of the outings where I just had a huge spark of inspiration. The muse came to play. I have the next scene for my book mapped out, and so I'm actually writing that this afternoon. I am very excited. I was with family when that inspiration hit, but I was still out doing something I enjoyed. I had actually wandered off for a moment, so even though I was with family, they had all moved on to a different exhibit, and I kind of, hung back for a moment and was inspired. I am working on making creativity a part of my day-to-day, and this notebook has really been my lifeline. Because to make it a part of my day-to-day, I need something consistent, and that's where this thing comes in, right? This front notebook, it could be notes for a video like this. My morning pages in here, definitely touching every single day. And then there's two other notebooks in here. One's more like a bullet journal, and then the other one's a commonplace book about myself. And I'm able to take notes from things. So when I do go out and have those activities and I'm out on an artist date, I can make a note of it and be able to bring it back into the space that it was relevant. So recently, again, it's been my writing. I'm excited that my writing is what's popping up for me. I think the hardest part now is just finding the time to sit down and write. So I collect my thoughts, I collect my inspiration. It's a beautiful thing, but making that commitment to sit down each and every day to write is a huge commitment. I've done it before. I was waking up at 4:30 in the morning to write one of my other books. And it's not easy, but that's just a part of the journey that I'm on. And I know that I will find the space to do it because in making creativity a part of my day-to-day, that means that there's time for it. I just need to pull from something that isn't a priority, like doom scrolling. So I will have to report back on where I land for my time and my schedule for my writing, but I definitely know I'm on the right track.